Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, it's great to have you back. If you're new to the channel, we're really glad you joined us. We hope you like what you hear. So, our podcast is for people who want to think deeply, who want to do things, and who want to be self leaders. They want to level up their mindset, they want to practice discipline with themselves and with others, and they want to have purpose. So, today's episode, we're going to dig into a mindset trap that kills progress faster than failure ever could. And that trap is the victim mentality. What is the victim mentality, you may ask? I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about it. Victim mentality is when someone believes that life is happening to them, not for them. It's about blaming external things. It's about blaming things outside of our control. It's about acting powerless. It's about throwing our hands up in the air and saying, oh, poor me. And we make excuses. That's what victim mentality people do. They make excuses for why they can't be successful. In contrast, someone with a growth mindset says, I can improve, I can learn, I can adapt, I can get better, and they do. But here's the truth. People don't just stumble into a victim mentality. There are reasons that they choose it. And today, we're going to unpack 5 psychological and social reasons that people fall into this mindset. We're going to give you research to show why these reasons are valid. We're going to give you real world examples so you can spot them when they happen. And as always, we're going to give you actionable tools to help you break free of the victim mentality if you run across it. So let's just jump right into it. The first reason people choose a victim mentality is they want to avoid responsibility, plain and simple. They want to dodge responsibility. They don't want to take responsibility for what's going on in their life. Playing the victim means you don't have to own your mistakes. It's always someone else's fault. It's always an external factor that's beyond your control. It's always something you can't do. Then you don't have to change. You don't have to confront it. You don't have to hold yourself accountable and look in the mirror and say, I got to get better. Psychologists call this an external locus of control. Believing your outcomes are controlled by outside forces. They're beyond my control and I can't do anything about it. Studies show that people with an internal locus of control tend to be healthier, more successful, and more motivated. So which one sounds better? Do I want to blame everything around me and feel helpless and powerless? Or do I want to own the things I can own, control the things I can control, and focus on those to make my life better? It's not a hard choice when you think about it that way. So here's an example. You've got a coworker out there who always misses deadlines, and then they blame the team, the manager, the technology, blah, blah, blah. There's always an excuse. It's everything but them. It's everything but their laziness. It's everything but their habits. It's everything but their effort. It's not their fault, right? That's what it looks like in real life when someone wants to avoid responsibility. So, how do we shift this? Let's say we're stuck in this rut. Let's say we're doing this to ourselves. Let's say you're suffering from this mentality right now. How do you get out of it? One way to do that is to start asking yourself, what part did I play in this? What could I have done differently to generate or deliver a different outcome? Even if you take 10% ownership, it might feel uncomfortable for a while, but you've got to start owning what's going wrong in your life. You have control over some of it, some portion of it. Maybe you don't have control over all of it, and that's okay. But you have control over some of it, and you've got to own the part that you can. All right? That builds accountability to yourself, and it builds grit, it builds determination, and it builds processes by which you can improve yourself. So we've got to ask ourselves that question. When things go wrong, ask yourself, what could I have done different? How could I have got a different outcome? There was something I could have done. There had to have been something I could have done that could have possibly made this different. Don't blame external forces. Look at the things you have control over and take ownership of it. Okay? All right. Number 2. This one we see a lot. They want validation or attention. Some people fall into a victim mentality because it gets them sympathy. The woe is me card can be a powerful way to get attention and feel significant. You see this a lot in debates. You see this a lot in society. Poor me, my people, whatever your people are. Let's just use the Irish people because I'm Irish. The poor Irish came as indentured servants. The poor Irish had to suffer through the Great Potato Famine. Tough shit. That's how it works. That's life. You got to fight your way out of it. Nobody cares. But a lot of people want that sympathy. They want the public recognition of, you're so brave, you're so strong. Hey, if that gets you going, fine. It doesn't work for me. I'd much rather own my own stuff. I'd much rather take control of what I have responsibility for. And look, bad things are going to happen. You just got to deal with those when they happen. So, according to psychologists, this behavior can become addictive. That's one of the problems with it is you start getting recognition for being a victim and then you want to continue to be a victim because you want to continue to get the recognition. Every comment, every like, every text of "you're so strong" reinforces the cycle. So, what does this look like in the real world? Ever see someone constantly post vague social media complaints looking for comfort or drama? Why is it even worth it? I'm so upset, right? Just a vague. They're fishing. They want someone to reach out and go, "It's okay. You're so strong. You can do it." It's a pattern. Don't buy into that. Don't give that to them because you're not helping them doing that. You're keeping them stuck where they are. So, what if you're in that mindset? How do you get out of that mindset? What's a good way to break through? So, you can build your own internal validation system. Don't seek validation from the outside world. Seek validation from yourself and be honest with yourself. Are you working as hard as you can? Are you giving your maximum effort? Are you doing everything within your control or are you not? You can set a small private goal for yourself and kill that goal. That will give you validation. Let your own performance fuel your pride. Let your own self determination be how you judge yourself. Don't seek validation from the external world. If you're in that mindset, you're going to be much happier, you're going to be much healthier, you're going to be much more productive. It's a win all the way around. Okay? Next, number 3, learned helplessness from past trauma. Like, this one's tough. People have bad things happen to them. They have bad things happen to them when they're kids. Sometimes those things are way out of your control. If you were the victim of abuse, if you were the victim of mental abuse, if you were the victim of whatever, like that sucks. It's hard. Martin Siegelman's research on learned helplessness found that after repeated failure or trauma, people sometimes just give up. Like it's too much for them. They can't fight through it. And that can be tough, especially when it happens to you at a young age. They stop trying because they don't believe it will make a difference. What does that look like in an adult? Someone applies to jobs and they get rejected 10 times and they decide, "I'm unemployable. I'll never get a job. I'm fucked." They freeze. That belief becomes their identity. And we've got to find a way to fight that as an adult. So the way to fight that is to set tiny wins. The tiniest amount of progress can make a difference. Apply for one job a day. Start small. Success compounds and retrains your brain to believe in its power. So you've got to fight through and just keep taking steps. Just keep showing up every day. Just keep putting in the effort. May not seem like it when you're doing it, but it's going to make a difference somewhere down the road. Okay, next, cognitive distortions and black and white thinking. Victim mentality thrives on distorted thinking. No one supports me. You know that's not true. There's people that support you. I'm always getting screwed. You know that's not true. You know sometimes things go your way. But you distort reality to fit the narrative you're telling yourself in your head. Cognitive distortions like overgeneralization, catastrophizing, and emotional reasoning are common in victim mindsets. They're traps that feel real but aren't logical. Here's another example. You get one piece of feedback and assume you're a failure. That's black and white thinking in action. One thing does not define you. One thing does not make you who you are. You're an amalgamation of all the things that have happened in your life. And you cannot focus on the one or two little negative things that you want to focus on. That's what creates a victim mentality. We've got to get out of it. So how do we get out of it? Practice cognitive reframing. Ask yourself, is this the whole truth or just how I feel right now? Is this really a trend or is this an isolated incident that I'm making into a really big deal? You got to get curious about things. You can't be judgmental, especially towards yourself. You may have had bad stuff happen. You may have had bad stuff happen or let bad stuff happen that affected other people. You've got to find a way to get past that and give yourself the grace to say, I made a mistake. I'm going to move on with my life. I'm going to learn and not let that happen again. But I'm going to move forward because the only thing I have control over is right now. I don't have control over yesterday because it's gone. I don't have control over tomorrow because it's not here yet. The only thing I have control over is the moment I'm in right now. And I'm going to do the best I can right now. And that's all I can do. That's all I have control over. That's the way to get past that part. Okay? Get that cognitive distortion out of your mind and think about the whole picture. Don't look at it through a narrow lens. Okay, and number 5, cultural and social reinforcements. Victim mentality isn't just personal, it can be cultural. You can surround yourself with people who like the victim mentality, and you can fall into it too. Some families, some friend groups, or communities bond over pain, resentment, and blame. Victimhood becomes part of their identity. That's not healthy. It's not a good place to be. Even if it's true, even if your group has been wronged, even if you've all suffered something terrible, you can't live in that identity forever. There's research on collective victimhood showing that communities who hold on to past injustices often struggle to move forward because their identity is tied to pain instead of progress. That's not where you want to be. Dwelling on the past and letting it impact your future is a bad choice. You can't control it, you can't change it. You've got to learn to compartmentalize it, deal with it, acknowledge it, and move forward with a growth mindset. Not a victim mindset, a growth mindset. Think of a community that's experienced real trauma but never talks about resilience or rebuilding, only what was done to them. Sound familiar? We hear it a lot in today's society. Poor us. We've been persecuted. We've been subjugated. We've been blah, 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 blah. That all could be true. I'm not denying that there's been bad things that have happened to people. I'm not denying that there's been terrible things that have happened in the United States. Totally got it. Totally acknowledged. We can't unring the bell. We can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And if we want to dwell on it, we're never going to be able to move forward in a productive way. Period. Just period. So, how do we do that? One way to do it is to highlight stories of strength and triumph within your circle. Share wins, celebrate growth, make resilience part of the culture. Stop letting the things that happened in the past be the part of the culture that you focus on. Focus on the resilience, on the toughness, on the grit, on the success you're going to have moving forward. You're going to manifest what happens by thinking good thoughts now and thinking positively now. Okay? So, how do we shift from a victim to a growth mindset overall? What do we do? First thing, we got to be aware. You got to notice when you're blaming, deflecting, or waiting for someone to save you. Nobody's coming. It's up to you. You've got to take that mentality. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. It's real simple. No one's going to come and save you or bail you out. It's up to you to live your life and own your decisions. Okay? And we got to learn to reframe challenges as opportunities to build strength, to build resiliency, to become educated, to learn things. When things go wrong, we can learn from them if we take the right mindset. But if we want to blame everybody and we want to be a victim, then we're not going to learn anything from it and we're going to get stuck. And that's not where you want to be. You got to seek feedback, not flattery. So ask someone for their honest opinion and then listen unjudgingly to their honest opinion. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on them. Don't say that's not fair. Don't say I disagree. Just absorb the feedback. Growth comes from truth, not comfort. Get people to tell you the truth if you want to grow. And you got to invest in learning. Okay, that's another tip. You got to read, try, fail, repeat. Read, try, fail, repeat. Read, try, fail, repeat. Not complicated, but not easy to do all the time. Adopting a growth mindset doesn't mean ignoring pain. Doesn't mean not acknowledging bad things that have happened. Doesn't mean not understanding that it's going to be tough sometimes. We get that. What it means is choosing power over paralysis. You don't want to be stuck. You don't want to be treading water. You want to be fighting your way towards the shore all the time. Okay? So, let's bring this in for a landing here. Why do people avoid responsibility? The victim mindset. Why do they avoid responsibility? Because they don't want to be responsible for their actions. They don't want to have to face the consequences of their actions. That's one of the reasons people choose the victim mentality, right? We talked about how victimhood feeds on validation. People give you sympathy when you act like a victim and you like it. So you do it again. It becomes part of your identity. We talked about how past pain trains helplessness. It sucks if something bad has happened to you. I'm sorry that it did, but you got to move forward. You can't let it affect the rest of your life. You got to find a way to compartmentalize it and move on. We talked about how distorted thinking traps us. One little thing blows the whole thing up. One bump in the road and we're off the rails. We've got to learn to look at the whole picture and not let one little thing derail our mindset like that. And we talked about how culture can reinforce victimhood. So maybe you're in the wrong culture. Maybe you're around the wrong people. Maybe you need to change up who you spend your time with. But either way, you've got to figure out how to make growth and resilience and grit the identity of your community and not past pain or suffering. It's okay to acknowledge it, but you can't wallow in it. All right. But more importantly than all of that, we gave you tools to fight back. And here's the thing, growth is a choice. You can choose to have a positive mindset, you can choose to have a growth mindset, or you can choose to blame everybody else and be a victim. It's not an easy choice. It's a hard one, but it's freeing when you get it done right. You'll feel so much better when you're taking action and owning your shit. Stop being a victim. It doesn't help. It's not going to get you where you want to be. It might give you temporary satisfaction, but it's no way to live your life, and it's going to hold you back in the long run. So, your challenge this week, catch yourself in a moment of victim thinking and flip it around. Ask, what's the opportunity here? How can I learn from this? How can I use this to make myself better? How can I grow from this experience? What can I learn or do differently? All right. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you found that helpful. I think it's a really good subject. We've got to learn to not wallow in our own pity and feel sorry for ourselves. We can't be victims. It's not going to work. It's not going to get us where we want to be. Let's work on developing that growth mindset. Let's work on pushing ourselves to get better. Let's work on those things instead of feeling sorry for ourselves. All right. So James puts it up over here every day. Don't forget to head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. All the podcast episodes are there. Got links to all the social media accounts there. We've got a newsletter that we publish every weekday that you can subscribe to on our website. And please, if you can, like, share, comment, subscribe on our podcast on whatever platform you consume it on. It's super helpful for us if you're able to do that. Thanks for checking us out. Hope you found this useful. Put these tips into your daily life. You'll feel a lot better. We will see you on the next episode.